Hi, I'm Becca from the Lisa Hardy School of Dance, and this is Bedtime Ballets with Becca. Today, we will be reading I Dreamed I Was a Ballerina, a girlhood story by Anna Pavlova, illustrated with paintings by Degas. Vivid are my earliest recollections, which take me back to the time when I was living in a little apartment with my mother in the city. I was the only child. My father having died 2 years after my birth, we were two alone in the world. We were very poor indeed. And yet my mother never failed to provide, on special occasions, a surprise for me in the shape of some treat. I can still remember my enthusiasm when, on one birthday, I heard we were going to celebrate by going to see a performance at the theater. I had never yet been to the theater, and I plied my mother with questions in order to find out what kind of show it was we were going to see. She replied by telling me the story of the Sleeping Beauty, a favorite of mine among all fairy tales, and one which she had already told me countless times. When we started for the theater, I felt unspeakably happy beside my mother, her arm tenderly enclosing my waist. "You are going to enter a fairy tale," she said, as we were being whirled across the darkness towards the theater, that mysterious unknown. The music of The Sleeping Beauty is by our great Tchaikovsky. As soon as the orchestra began to play, I became very grave and attentive, eagerly listening, moved for the first time in my life by the beauty. But when the curtain rose, displaying the golden hall of a wonderful palace, I could not withhold a shout of delight. And I remember hiding my face in my hands when the old hag appeared on stage in her car driven by rats. In the second act, a swarm of youths and maidens appear and danced a most delightful waltz. "How would you like to dance thus?" asked my mother with a smile. "Oh," I replied, "I would prefer to dance as the pretty lady does who plays the part of the princess. One day I shall be the princess and dance upon the stage of this very theater." My mother muttered that I was very silly, little dear, and never suspected that I had just discovered the idea that was to guide me throughout my life. When we left the theater, I was living in a dream. During the journey home, I kept thinking of the day when I should make my first appearance on the stage in the part of Sleeping Beauty. That very night, I dreamed that I was a ballerina, and I spent a whole life dancing like a butterfly to the sounds of Tchaikovsky's lovely music. I love to remember that night. The